Welcome everyone. Let's start with a moment of silence. So we'll just for a minute we'll stay with our breath. I'll open the session after that. So we are on week 6 and we have two prayers for today. January 11, 1914 and Feb 21, 1914. So let's go with the first one. January 11, 1914. Yeah. So anyone who would like to read it out for us, all of us, please unmute and share. Yeah, Swapna?
January 11th, 1914. Every moment, all the unforeseen, the unexpected, the unknown is before us. Every moment, the universe is created anew in its entirety and in every one of its parts. And if we had a truly living faith, if we had the absolute certitude of thy omnipotence and thy sole reality, thy manifestation could at each moment become so evident that the whole universe would be transformed by it. But we are so enslaved to everything that is around us and has gone before us. We are so influenced by the whole totality of manifested things. And as our faith is so weak that we are yet unable to serve as intermediaries for the great miracle of transfiguration. But Lord, I know that it will come one day. I know that a day will come when thou wilt transform all those who come to us. Thou wilt transform them so radically that, liberated completely from the bonds of the past, they will begin to live in thee an entirely new life. A life made solely of thee, with thee as its sovereign Lord. And in this way, all anxieties will be transformed into serenity, all anguish into peace, all doubts into certainties, all ugliness into harmony, all egoism into self-giving, all darkness into light, and all suffering into immutable happiness. But art thou not already performing this beautiful miracle? I see it flowering everywhere around us. O divine law of beauty and love, supreme liberator, there is no obstacle to thy power. Only our own blindness deprives us of the comforting sight of thy constant victory. My heart sings a hymn of gladness, and my thought is illumined with joy. Thy transcendent and marvelous love is the sovereign master of the world.
Yeah, thank you so much, Swapna. Yeah, so anyone who would like to share any lines that you resonated with or any reflections coming from the prayer?
One thing that struck me as I was reading it was it seems so appropriate for what's going on in our world at large, especially as I sit here in Europe and what's politically going on. It's very comforting to read her words, and I feel grateful that again she seems to speak with such a surety of the inevitability of the divine winning, or that it's going to ultimately, everything and everyone is working towards closeness to this. Because it's felt quite unnerving, the recent political events and more, on the planet. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to say.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone else? So it's very interesting, the first few lines. Every moment, all the unforeseen, the unexpected, the unknown is before us. So the way we live in our ordinary conscious, this conceptual limited mind, we don't have unknown, every day in front of us. We just live the same path again and again, as if the same tape is repeated again and again every day. While Mother is saying every moment, all the unforeseen, the unexpected, the unknown is before us. Every moment, even physically, if we see, organically, if we look at the body, it's true that the cells are dying every moment and new cells are being born. Every moment, the universe is created anew in its entirety. So as they say that senses deceive us. If I look at the person who I live with every day, I can't say that the person is changing, but the person is new every moment, and so am I. But that's not our truth, because we really don't have a life. Our patterns have a life. We are not living, our patterns are repeating themselves. And that's why Mother stresses upon being conscious of what's happening within the being. What am I thinking? What am I, why am I saying this, whatever I am saying? Why am I acting in this way, repeatedly for the past many years? So to become conscious, mindful of whatever I'm doing, because if I don't become conscious, I don't have the capacity to change it. I don't have any choice. And if we had a truly living faith, if we knew that yes, every moment I have a new opportunity to become new, if I knew that I have a truly living faith, like it's my life, that yes, every moment is not a concept in my head, that every moment is new, I know that I can recreate my life every moment. I can be reborn every moment. I can say all the sorries that are required to be, to move on. Many times we are stuck just because we don't want to put our head down, and say sorry and move on. We just want to be right all the time. And if we had a truly living faith, if we had the absolute certitude of thy omnipotence, that yes, there is a higher intelligence and function, and there is a higher truth in me which I can give a chance to operate, then I can become anew afresh. But if I cling to my identity as the patterns, as the emotional feelings overwhelms, if I cling to those habits, then there is no chance. Then I repeat the tape, same loop over again and again. Then there is no unexpected, foreseen, unforeseen coming, in my life. Thy manifestation could at each moment become so evident that the whole universe will be transformed by it. So not only my individual being, but the whole universe, because whatever I look out in the world is my projection of it. So when I see that people have been bad to me, it's not that people are absolutely bad. It's just my projection that I uh, send out there, and I think that's actually an external truth that people are bad. I think there is a story where there is a monk who goes around in villages, and he asks every time, he goes to a village, and he's asked by other people, okay, how did you find that village? And he says, oh, people were very nice and this and that, while other people have different perceptions of those, villages. So what we are seeing out there, we think that that's what is out there, but we have to challenge it, we have to question it. And as Buddhist tradition also, they say that whatever we see out there in the world, it's more like a dream, like we are dreaming all the time, and each one has a different dream. So our dreams are at clash with each other. You say the world is like this, I say the world is like this, and we are always arguing with each other because we hardly are looking at the truth. We are just looking at our perceptions of reality, our projections of reality. So if we could know that each moment, each one of us has a choice to not to live a life by our thought patterns, emotional patterns, to live in the moment, then we have a chance, then we can be anew. Otherwise there is no chance for us. And if there is a chance for me, then the entire universe has a chance, because if I can change, each person around me can change. It's not that I have to fix out somebody out there. It's just that when I fix myself, when I correct my own distorted projections of reality, then I'm not wanting to fix anyone out there. So it becomes relatively easy for me to live a life, rather than trying to control everyone and fix everyone, which we spend half of the time in. That there is this behavior which is not allowed, that thing workplace not allowed, how can you do that? While if I take every external situation as something for me to transform within, then things can change for me. Then I'm not also suffering because things are not changing out there. As mother would say, all difficulties lie within you. There is no difficulty out there, because whatever is out there is my projection of reality. It's not the absolute truth, because the same person who can be bad to me is a good friend to somebody else. So the person is not absolutely bad. So this is quite liberating, to see that we have a choice. But why can't we see this? But we are so enslaved to everything, as if we are, we have a thread, and with that thread we are tied to our emotional patterns, thought patterns, my feelings, my family, my story, as if there is a glue between uh, me and my thought patterns, and I don't know myself other than my thought patterns. That's my identity. So we are so enslaved to everything that is around us, the external manifestations, and thought and feelings are external manifestations only, right? So including that, we are so enslaved to everything that is around us and has gone before us, so we are clinging to the past. If we become conscious of our thoughts, 24 hours a day, we will see how enslaved we are to the past. Every time our thoughts are going into the past, or connected with future worries. We are rarely there. We have to actually practice to be there if we want to be here and now. Otherwise, the mind is always enslaved and entangled in the forest of thought. So we are so enslaved to everything that is around us and has gone before us, our conditioning, upbringing, all that. We are so influenced by the whole totality of manifested stuff. So, whenever we talk about manifestation, we talk about senses. How do I know there is a bottle that I can hold? Because I have a sense that can sense the bottle. So, with my sense of touching, I sense it, and the mind interprets, and I take it for truth. This is what we have to challenge. It is not in vain that masters have said, be aware of your senses. Because senses, the reality that they create, even physics now tells us that's not absolute truth. There is no solid reality out there. Even at the level of atomic, subatomic particles, there is a wave particle duality. It's not as solid as it appears to be. So be questioning. We have to question that the thought that I am clinging to, the feeling that I take it for so sure that yes, 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 this is true. Can I hold it like a dream? How would it be if I hold it just like a dream? Not to give it that much of importance that I give it right now. So we are so influenced by the totality of manifested things, and our faith is so weak. Why faith is weak? Because we are so enslaved by our senses. We think that whatever my sense mind is saying, that's the truth. So I don't have faith because, see, this is in front of me. The person did betray me. How can I say that it is not right? Because I cling to whatever is coming through the senses. So the faith is so weak that we are yet unable to serve as intermediaries for the great miracle of transfiguration. So this is Mother first starts with this, like this is the present situation. Although there is unforeseen, unexpected, possible for each one of us every moment, but our fact is at the moment that we are not able to have that adventure because we are enslaved by our thoughts. Whatever sense mind says, I believe in. But then she continues, but Lord, I know that it will come some one day. As Swapna was, reiterating that Mother, in every prayer, she reiterates the certitude that divine victory is certain. We are all bound to achieve enlightenment. That's our true nature. Nobody can stop it. No number of sins and crimes committed can stop us reaching that possibility, the highest possibility. So, but Lord, I know that it will come one day. I know that a day will come when thou will transform all those who come to us, because all those who actually mostly come to the spiritual path, we are suffering. We are in pain. As slaves of ego, we suffer really badly, and the suffering cannot be transformed until we unite with our true nature, consciously becoming aware of who we truly are. So whoever comes to us, thou will transform them so radically, like an absolute shift in consciousness, that they are not their egos anymore. They are their new selves. Thou will transform them so radically that liberated completely from the bonds of past. Now, what is this liberated completely from the bonds of past? The moment I take even a pinch of my story as real, I'm still clinging to the ego. Even a pinch of my story, I can't take on this path. Because a story is a story, is a dream is a dream. And whenever I am hallucinating or in a dream, I cannot be, realize who I truly am. So even if I cling to 2% of my story and want solace from that, there would be more suffering in store for me. So I will have to abandon my story altogether. Like there is no respite in between. Like as if, see, imagine that you are in an ocean and there are two boats. One boat is full of my past and stories and roles that I play, and the other boat is calling me forward. It's like a newborn, a new birth. So our condition is like this, one leg here, one leg there. How difficult it is. This cannot be our life. I'll have to let go of the past story completely, altogether. Nothing from the story I am hoping to get. And in that's why we call it leap of faith. So you have no idea what is there in for you in the other boat, because it's unknown, unexpected, unforeseen. Truth is not dogmatic, it's not formula. So the other boat, you have no clue what there is. And what is asked of you is to leave totally the older boat. And that's why suffering comes to help, because if I'm not suffering in the old boat, I'm not able to let go, because it appears to me sweets and candies and lollies. I still have hope that something will work out and I will achieve happiness there in my story. So as long as we are not convinced and disenchanted, we keep on hanging on in the older boat. That okay, this okay, 10% has not come. Okay, let me see, 20, maybe 2% will come. So we keep on holding on to the older boat for as long as we can. We really suffer badly, all of us. But once something in me has decided enough, something in me gets a taste of simplicity and peace, then we have, with grace, we can leap over to the new boat. And then it's better not said, what's in the new boat, because for every person it's something new. So this, liberated completely from the bonds of past, it has to happen for each one of us. We don't know when it will happen. We have our own journeys. For each one, it could be maybe this lifetime, another lifetime, but human birth is very precious, they say. So if it is this lifetime, it's better. But in eternity, there is enough time. Many, many lifetimes are there. But human life is short. What is 50, 60, 70 years, even shorter? Who knows how long we are able to live? So this is our possibility of leaving the bonds and attachments of the past, our tendencies, our habituated patterns of mind, a clingy mind, a restless mind, to make it very simple and uncomplicated. To let go of all the stories that I'm holding on to become conscious of all that I'm holding on to. This is my chance. That's why they say to use it wisely, the human birth. So mother has certitude that you will transform them so radically that completely liberated from the bonds of past, they will begin to live in thee, an entirely new life, a life made solely of thee, with thee as the sovereign Lord. And in this way, all anxieties will be transformed into serenity. So when I do not have from Realme 5 Pro. Just a second. Yeah, I think Alexa also wanted to share something. So whenever I'm anxious, it is not possible that I'm not holding on to some opinion, some idea, some story. So mother says that when we live moment by moment, when we stay connected, the mind is home in the body, we are not thinking of past or future worries, then I have the possibility to live a new life every moment, as mother shared in the first line. And then all anxieties, because all anxieties are about past or future happenings, all anxieties are transformed into serenity. Simple. But ego doesn't want a simple life. Ego always wants complication. We have to know that. There is not an ego who would say that, oh, I'm so content. Ego loves to be miserable. We want complications in our life if we live on that, manner. So she shares, in this way, all anxieties will be transformed into serenity, all anguish into peace. Why do we have anguish in life? Because I want something, but the life is giving me something else. I want this in my relationship, but my relationship is giving me something else. So I am anguished. Why am I not getting what I want? So there is anguish, and I don't can't sense any peace. But when I let go of the stories and become open and vulnerable to the present moment, then there is no need for anguish. Then I say, Mother, okay, you want me to go through this phase? I will go through. I'm sure there is something good in this. Let me go through this phase. So we are open to the unfolding of life. All anguish into peace, all doubts into certainties. Because doubts also appear when we are clinging to our own ideas of truth, and we are not, truth or life, and we are not getting that. So I wanted a HR job, but I landed up, in a administrative job, and I'm not happy. Why? Because I am clinging that I wanted that, and that is what is good for me. So, but if I let go of what I want and let the life unfold, then maybe I can learn from each experience that comes forward. All ugliness into harmony. So within us, there are several conflicted parts, which are always in disharmony with each other. That also sublimates, and we kind of settle down into the present moment. We say, okay, let us see what's coming. We don't have any preconceived notions of this would come or this should come. Let me see what life has stored for me. All ugliness into harmony, discord into harmony, all egoism into self giving, because egoism is always wanting, 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 wanting. This is not right, I want this. This is not right, I want that. Now, always wanting and demanding is clinging, addictive to my ideas, my opinions. That's egoism. So that changes into, okay, let me offer myself to the present moment. Now, how simple. And as mother says, desire free in one's manner, that I don't have one or other particular desire. If this happens, okay, let me go through this. If that happens, okay, let me go through this. So I'm offering myself to the present moment. All egoism into self-giving, all darkness into light. Because darkness, whenever we are in ignorance, we are dark. Whenever I am lost in the forest of thought and feelings and past and future, I'm dark. It's too much of darkness and heaviness. So that sublimates into light, and all suffering into immutable happiness. And we know, that most of the suffering is self-created. It's the egoistic clinging that creates misery. So if I'm not clinging to my idea of life, my idea of how others should behave in front of me, my idea of, this is right and this is wrong, then where is suffering? Then there is no discord. I'm open. Okay, let me see. But it's hard for the ego to come down to such a humility that I don't know and I'm open to know. All suffering into immutable happiness. And there is a joy and simplicity in just being. There is a joy and simplicity and lightness, when we are not demanding anything from life. It's a different kind of a freedom, that we are okay somehow with whether it's pain or maybe poverty that may be there. I'm okay. I can survive. It's no big deal. So there is a there's a quality about it. But art thou not already performing this beautiful miracle? So it's not that it will happen in future. Mother says you are performing this beautiful miracle where each one of us is being shown the possibility of a new life. I see it flowering everywhere around us. People are getting more and more conscious. Nobody wants to suffer. Why would I want to prolongate, my suffering? Turning to words of light and radiance, wanting peace, not wanting discord and disharmony. Because ego, since it loves to be miserable, it wants discord and disharmony. But when I let go of my clinging, then it's simple, it's uncomplicated. So mother sees this happening in front of her. O divine law of beauty and love. So, all beauty that is possible, all love that is possible, even in bits and bits and pieces in our life that we see, that is the flowering of this happening. O divine law of beauty and love, supreme liberator, there is no obstacle to thy power. So, Mother says that no matter how bad the outer circumstances may appear, you cannot be stopped. Divine victory is certain. You cannot be stopped. There is no obstacle to thy power. Only our own blindness deprives of us of the comforting sight of thy constant victory. So, what we have to work on is our blindness. To recognize that I am blind is a big achievement. Then I don't hold on so tightly to my thoughts, ideas, and opinions about people, myself, and the world. When I know that I am blinded. No? But when I say that I know how things are, I know how people are, then I'm not even aware of my blindness. That's the creator of misery. So, this humility that I am aware of my ignorance and blindness, and hence I cannot really say with surety about my opinions and ideas. They may be wrong, you know. This humility takes us forward. And of course, we cannot pretend it, you know, it has to just dawn in our life through our own blows and whatever happens in life. So, our own blindness, the blindness that is caused by clinging to my ideas, my life, my family, me, this is blindness. And if we look at our thoughts 24/7, we are immersed in this blindness mostly. My life, what people are thinking of me, what I think about them, you know, what they did to me, what I did to them. We are always lost in that. Only our own blindness deprives us of the comforting sight of thy constant victory. So, our obstacle is our own blindness. We really have to question this, that the very fact that I don't see that I am blind is blindness. My heart sings a hymn of gladness, and my thought is illumined with joy. So, when Mother sees the divine victory happening, she's full of gladness, that she relaxes in the present moment, you know, that it's beautiful that you are performing this miracle right now. Thy transcendent and marvelous love is the sovereign master of the world. This love which changes everything. In one of the prayers and meditations, I think Alokda also shared that, you know, for example, if a child has to be given a medicine for him to get better, so others would be maybe offering him the medicine, that okay, kindly please take it, and you know, coaxing him to take the medicine. But a mother's love is like she would feed the medicine right into the mouth. You know, she would not wait the child to say yes. So that's the power of love, that it knows what is right for us, and it feeds, we are fed with that love, what is beneficial for us. So, can we just realize this for ourselves, that whatever is happening in our lives right now, can we just accept all of that? That we, maybe someone out there who knows better than us wants to wants us to go through that. So, can we go through that in faith and let go of our ideas about how it should be happening? I think there we let go of all the burden, and it's easy then. We can relax in the moment. So I think I'm done. I spoke a lot today. Anyone who wants to add on any reflection, any sharing?
Namaste, Dr. Monica.
Yes, Rashmiji, namaste, please.
So wonderfully explained by you. So really nothing more to add from my side, but there are few points that really appeal to me. As you go on the path, it is very important that every moment, even if I commit a mistake also, once I am attuned to the path, I have my face towards the mother, then I have to delete those mistakes. I will not, as you rightly said, I should not cling to that mistake. So that is how the bonds of the past could be gone. And once I start living in the mother, so I take it in stages rather. First, I will live for the mother, then live by the mother, and live in the mother. So that really becomes an agenda of life. I see it in this way. So at every moment, whatever I do, whether that connection is always there or not. If that is there, then I don't think any anguish would be there, any anxieties would be there, any doubt is there. Once that connection is lost during my course of my work or anything, there I feel at times lost. But once I start that connection, because I know that my whole life is completely surrendered to her, I am her child. Once that connection is established, I am at peace with myself. I don't really fear anybody, anything. Because even if I commit a mistake also, I just, I delete it. I don't think of it. I'll not think of it. My sole purpose is to have that connection. Yes, mother is, you are here, simple. You are here, you are with me. Whom should I fear for anything? And as Sisi rightly said, our own blindness deprives us. So at times those those blindness again comes back, and we become at times lost. But again, we come to the light. We again find our connection, and everything becomes again sunlit. That is how I feel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rashmiji. Yeah, anyone else? Anything to share or add on? So there is a actually short teaching which is about how ego clinging leads us to misery. Is it okay if I share with all of you here? Is that all right with all of us? It's maybe around 4-5 minutes. Yeah, would anyone be interested in it? So I can.
Yes,
Yes,
surely.
Monica.
Yeah?
Please,
Okay.
please do share. Yeah.
Okay. So give
Yes,
me a
Monica.
second. Yeah. Just a second. So it's something on what the first prayer that we just Mother was sharing, that how we are enslaved, clinging to our ideas and opinions and thoughts and feelings. So it's just about that. And let's hear this.
That it's our desire, our sticky mind, which creates the problems. That the mind sticks to things. It's like Velcro. It has all these little hooks and catches onto everything. And it's very hard. And we think that this is the cause of our pleasure. And we don't understand it's actually the cause of suffering. If we cling. It doesn't mean that therefore we only have to suffer in order to be liberated. It's not like that. That's not what he's talking about. If things are good, then that's fine. But if they're not good, that's fine too. That's the point. When I first got ordained, back in the early 60s, then I went to Thailand. And I met this Thai princess. And so she took me to her summer home, which was, they had this private beach leading down with the, palm trees and silver sands. And I had this house, this beautiful polished teak house in the middle of a lotus pool and 3 servants. And I just got ordained. So I said to the princess, I don't feel comfortable about this. And she said, what? You didn't ask for it? It's come to you? It's not going to last forever. When things are nice, that's good. And when things are not nice, that's okay also. She's my teacher. She was a lovely, lovely woman. But it's true. So, the Buddha was invited for banquets, the most delicious food they could give, and he went for the banquet. But also, when there were no banquets, he wandered around the street getting scraps from the householders. All the same. Didn't worry him. So that kind of mind, which I call a Teflon mind, a Teflon mind, a non-stick mind, this is what we need. Right? Then whatever happens, it's okay. When everything comes together and we have nice things happening and good things to eat, nice things to wear, nice places to live, that's nice. But then when we don't have those things, when we have not nice things and difficulties and problems and, things are not come together, that's okay too. Then if our mind doesn't get stuck, because people also can get stuck the other way. I know people who feel very happy eating in very grungy places, but feel very uncomfortable eating in nice places. So that's also an attachment, right? You're being attached to being unattached. So what we need is to have a mind which doesn't get stuck anywhere. And that whatever happens, it's okay. So if we get what we want, that's nice. But if we don't get what we want, that's okay too. No problem. The problem is not whether we get or we don't get, but how open we are to the situations as they come. It's this grasping mind that wants things the way I want them. Everybody has to agree with me, and things have to go how I want them, and I have to get what I want. The more we get into that kind of mindset, the more we suffer. Whereas if we're open to whatever is happening and arising and leaving, recognizing everything is impermanent, nothing lasts forever, including ourselves, then there's no problem. We are the problem. We blame other people, we blame outer circumstances. But the good news is that we are the problem. Because we cannot change others, but we can change ourselves. And so the whole path is about waking up.
So I think those of us who want to see the whole teaching, which is beautiful, it's available on YouTube. You can watch it, listen to it. So I think it just hit at the right point that if, and also it gives me the responsibility to change, right? And it's very empowering that if I am the problem, then I have also the power to change myself and, wake up, as she was sharing from the dream. But if problems are out there, then we feel very powerless, as if, we have no power and we fail in changing the world out there. So yeah. Yeah, anything that anyone wants to share, any reflection, anything? There was also there was one teaching which I saw and which actually resonated with what Mother shared, that every moment is a new moment. So it's only 1 minute or so, but let me just put it on also, because that was also very nice. Just a second, if I can. Yeah, here it is. And just put it on.
Worthy thing. And yet we see a lot of a kind of dogmatic warfare. And I remember in the early 60s, I lived in Berkeley, and the free speech movement, we had a guy living in our basement who was very involved. Basically, as soon as it looked like the conflict was going to get resolved, he would go into a deep depression. And then there was some kind of elation that would come over him when a new cause could arise. So again, I'm not meaning here to put down anything in particular, but it's a way that we concretize, the way that we make things solid, the way that we hold on to things. In other words, it's a way of going astray from the true nature of reality, which is not one certain way. It's said in the teachings that each moment is completely fresh. It's never happened before, and it will never happen again. It's unique. And that all that is being overlooked when we cling to things and when we cling to beliefs. The real truth of the matter is we can use these things as stepping stones, use them as ways of communicating, use them as a way of enriching our life and enjoying things. But if we cling to it and use it as a weapon, if we find that we're threatened, should anybody disagree, then we know that somehow we're going astray, that we're blinding ourselves and weakening ourselves.
So yeah, this was also about our blindness and how we stick, as was shared in the earlier teaching, to my ideas of truth and of life and of world and everything. And in ideas, we miss the truth, which is new every moment. So yeah, pretty enlightening. So my suggestion is that maybe if we have time, if all of us can stay, we can take the second prayer today itself. If not, we can take it next week also. What do you suggest?
Can you take it next week?
Okay.
I was going to suggest we take it this week.
Okay. We can take it too. It's a short one. Yeah. And
let's take it this week.
okay. So I'm putting it on. If those of us who want to stay, stay. And if you want to go, that's okay too. So it's a short one. And why I took this date, skipping many prayers in between this week, because It was mother's birthday, Feb 21, so I was trying to find a prayer of that date. So this is here in front of us, Feb 21, 1914. Okay, anyone who would like to read it for all of us?
May I?
Yes, please, Rashmiji, please.
February 21st, 1914. Every day, every moment should be an occasion for a new and completer consecration, and not one of those enthusiastic and flurried consecrations, overactive, full of illusions about the work, but a deep and silent consecration which is not necessarily visible, but penetrates and transfigures all action. Our mind, solitary and peaceful, should always repose in thee, and from that pure summit have the exact perception of realities, of the soul and eternal reality behind all unstable and fleeting appearances. O Lord, my heart is purified of all uneasiness and anguish. It is steady and calm and sees thee in all things. And whatever our outer actions may be, whatever the circumstances the future has in store for us, I know that thou alone livest, that thou alone art real in thy immutable permanence, and it is in thee that we live. May there be peace upon all the earth.
Yeah, thank you, Rashmiji. So any reflection? Anyone wants to share? Would you like to share any reflection, Rashmiji?
Actually, this is the mother. Every prayer is always open something inside us. Every prayer. What I understand from here, that our consecration must be completed as we proceed, and it must be a deep and silent consecration, which may not be visible, but it penetrates and transfigures all our actions. Our mind must be reposed in her, and we must perceive the realities behind all unstable and fleeting appearances. We have to go for complete consecration. That is what I have understood. Say work before me. It is happening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think also, as Mother says, becoming conscious of what we are thinking, what we are feeling throughout the day. When we become conscious, we also see that most of the times we are consecrated to our desires. I was just observing for myself that we just have to shift this consecration to my wants and desires, to the present moment or through the divine. So it's not that we are not consecrated, but maybe consecrated as at a wrong place, at the wrong Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Any reflections on this prayer coming to you? Anyone?
Dr. Monica, consecration to the wrong entity always lands us in pain. So that is how we
Come
again
back.
come back and look at the mother.
True
So,
that. Yeah, absolutely.
so that helps us to again see what is real and what is unreal.
Very true. Very true.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that happens every moment. So you
Yeah.
know,
True. True. Thank God for pain and suffering. If not, how will we find our way back home? Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Yes, Swapna.
I was just gonna say I also read this yesterday, when it was Mother's birthday, and I was purposely looking for, okay, can I find a prayer that she wrote on her own birthday? So to think like the mother herself on her own birthday, with given the significance she gives to birthdays of being this special day of opening to the force, and still she's saying, every day, every moment should be an occasion for a new and complete consecration. And so I found that really beautiful and touching, that she would herself say that and notice that. And then also for me, it meant a lot to read this, not one of those enthusiastic and flurried consecrations, but a deep and silent consecration. Because somehow, yeah, that just had a lot more power and somehow more accessible as well. On seeing how sometimes it, for me, can feel like it's overactive, my efforts, or somehow a little bit more hyper, and this is a good guidance. Yeah, wanted to share that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this also was very stark, that on her birthday, which, as many people say that this is a special day, ask something for a good wish or whatever. And there itself, she shares that not only this special day, but every day, every moment should be an occasion. And as in the previous, January 11, she was sharing that each moment is actually a new birth, a new moment. So it's true that we can, if we are aware of what we are supposed to do, we can make a newer and a completer consecration. Yeah. And in many a times it happens because of the rush of the vital. We are very enthusiastic and we say, oh, one day, oh divine, my life belongs to you. But then in the next moment, my life belongs to my idea or opinion in the head. So that's pretty interesting to see in ourselves. And that's what she's sharing, that not really one of those enthusiastic and flurried consecration happening in a hurry kind of a thing, overactive, full of illusions about the work, but a deep silent consecration, where you're not trying to make an image in front of either you or anyone, that see, look, I'm consecrated and my life is more and more consecrated. It's not about creating images, or either in my own head or for other people, but because when we consecrate ourselves more, we are peaceful and joyful, because that's our destiny. We are all destined to be consecrated for something higher and not for our little separate individualities. So consecration is joy, it's not, and living as an ego is suffering. So consecration is our highest possibility, but a deep and silent consecration. So whenever we see, okay, there is a obstacle here, which I see that I'm not consecrated, and I become conscious of it. So I can take that obstacle on the path, and as mother says, that put light, give it to the mother and shed light on it. So what is the demand? Look at the demand and maybe convince the mind, because we have ran enough, all of us, which is not necessarily visible but penetrates and transfigures all action. So there is a growing sincerity in the being, growing honesty in the being. I'm not fooling myself or others. If I'm not consecrated, I know that I'm not consecrated. So there is no, pretense there. And as mother shares, that sincerity is the cornerstones. One of the cornerstones is sincerity, to be honest with ourselves. And if we look at meditation, when we are just looking at our own movements throughout the day, what are the thoughts that are arising, what are the feelings that are coming and going, we are just becoming honest with ourselves. Yeah, okay, this is my present state. Okay, this is where I go again and again. This is my repeated loop of thoughts. So we are just becoming conscious of all the things that we hide within. And when we become sincere that yes, I want to give this up because it's leading me more pain and suffering, then that sincerity itself transfigures the action. Then I don't go the old route again. Our mind solitary and peaceful. So usually our mind is not solitary because it's full of thoughts about the world and people and myself. That's not a solitary mind. When my mind is full of thoughts about the world, about my own self, my images, my opinions, ideas, or others living around me, it's not a solitary mind. Our mind, solitary and peaceful, should always repose in thee. So, as Mother talks about rest, true rest is in the highest possible consciousness that's available to us. So, resting in the moment, bringing the mind home to the body with either the thread of breath or maybe bodily sensations, perceptions, we can bring the mind home to the body. Just clinging to not ideas in my head, but the breath, because it's neutral. Breath is something neutral, and the consciousness is tied with the breath. So whenever we become conscious of our breathing, which is happening 24/7, we somehow calm the mind also, and we bring the mind home to the body. So this is a true repose in the moment, in the body, should always repose in thee. And from that pure summit, from that kind of a sense of peace, inner stability and serenity, that pure summit, have the exact perception of realities, of the soul and eternal reality behind all unstable and fleeting appearances. So there is this screen of awareness on which the movies of our lives come and go. So she's sharing that when we are having this inner stability, when we are home with ourselves, then we have this perception of true reality, which is just this sense of awareness, knowing, the quality of knowing, which is behind all the coming and going of phenomenon, thoughts, feelings, sense perceptions. I know this thought, I know this feeling, I know what's happening in the body. So the knowing never goes away. That's the sole reality which never changes. Appearances are changing all the time. Oh Lord, my heart is purified of all uneasiness. So when we take stance, in even if for a 2 minutes or 5 minutes, if we are able to, when we take stance as this knowing, the screen behind the movie, we become easy. We become non-grasping. Oh Lord, my heart is purified of uneasiness. So when we are able to conceive of this reality, we are able to perceive it in our experience, practical, experience. I am this knowing behind all coming and going of thoughts, ideas, opinions, lives. Then all uneasiness goes away, because all uneasiness is because of clinging to ideas, opinions, which are fleeting anyway, which are like a dream. Purified of all uneasiness and anguish. And now I am not wanting things to be that way, this way, my way, because after all, it's a movie coming on the screen. So whether the movie is good, bad, whatever, ugly, then I'm not clinging to it, because I'm not the movie. Now I can create a movie. That's a different mastery that can happen now. That when I know myself as the screen, now any kind of a movie I want to create, I can create. Now I'm not deluded in that particular moment. Although it's another matter that the moment the stance changes, the ego pops back again. I am deluded again. It is steady and calm and sees thee in all things. So this knowing quality is there in all beings. Then when I see myself as that knowing, then I am one with all the beings. And whatever our outer actions may be, whatever the circumstances the future has in store for us, I know that thou alone livest, thou alone art real, in thy immutable permanence. This is what we are seeking all the time. We are looking for permanence in either relationships. If I have found love, it should never go away. If I have found a job, good job, it should always be there. My house should never be taken away. My children should always be good with me. So we are always looking for this security, permanence, but we are looking for it in the wrong places. And when we look at this, when we are aware of this reality, the presence of awareness in us, the presence of knowing, the quality of knowing, that's something which is immutable and permanent. It is in thee that we live. We are always living in that knowing. True consciousness, divine consciousness. And when we become cognizant of that, that's why this is what mystics masters say, waking up to your reality. But this is not a one-day process, because we have to stabilize. That's what masters and mystics are doing in their caves all the time. They're stabilizing their knowing as this true consciousness. And there is no end to it, because true consciousness is infinite. There is no end to it. Lifetimes after lifetimes it may take to stabilize myself as that knowing. So when we become aware of that, then the ease happens, ease dawns, uneasiness and anguish goes away, and we settle down into a kind of a permanence which never goes away. Knowing never goes away. May there be peace upon all earth. And as in all the prayers, whenever Mother talks about, especially when she starts with her own experience, she gives it out to the world. This is also, I think, something which in Buddhist tradition also they do, that whatever virtue I may gather through this meditation or satsang or whatever, may this virtue be shared with all beings. May the peace that I have felt through my meditation, may it be shared with all the beings. So this is what Mother does in almost, virtually all the prayers that she gives out for us. That she shares the peace and serenity that she feels in herself with everyone. She is doing the yoga for each one of us. And we can too contribute, in our little ways. That whenever we feel happiness, joy, goodness, and we become conscious of that joy, may that joy be shared with all. May everyone feel this peace that I am feeling right now. Because just like I suffer, everyone suffers. Yeah, so anyone, anything to share, any reflection? Okay, so I'm assuming there is no further addition. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, listening, and collaborating, working together, reflecting together. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Shilpaji.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Monica.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.